Hello and welcome to the Wealth Tree. If you're here, it's because you are taking the necessary steps to get your finances in order and get rid of debt. Today, we're going to talk about a family that we already did a video of them with a $500 cash flow. They were able to get the finances in order, get much higher cash flow, and pay off their debt a lot faster. Do me a favor, if you like this kind of videos, give me a thumbs up, please. It'll help me a lot. I'm fairly new and I'm starting on this. I want to help as many people as I can to get out of debt and get the finances in order. Let's start. First and foremost, always, the first thing I do is I ask people, what are your goals? Because no matter what, how much you make, how much you spend, what strategy you want to choose, your goals is what is most important to you, and that is the most important to me. Depending on your goals, it's what the strategy we're going to choose in order to get you to those goals a lot faster. So let's go through this family goals. The goals is to pay off debt. Pretty simple. Now, part of pay off the debt is pay less in interest. So the strategy I'm going to create is to pay less in interest than what you were going to pay initially, or pay the less amount of interest as possible. They want to start infinite banking. They want to create a self-directed IRA. Now, most of this stuff I can't do. I'm not certified to do an infinite banking, or I'm not certified to do a self-directed IRA. But as a financial consultant and financial coach, I can help you through the process of what do you need to do to start every single area. And then towards the end is pay the house. Actually, I forgot one here, and they want to start doing real estate investing probably at the same time that they're paying their house. So that's another thing that we're probably going to take a look here. When we come to this side, here are the numbers after they clean up their expenses. And this is one of the things I love from them. We did a first initial consultation. They like essentially the strategy we put in place. One of the videos I made before, it was about them with the $500 cash flow. In this case, they're like, you know what, I think we can do better. And they decided, you know what, for a certain period of time, we're not going to go out so much. We're not going to put money towards vacations or whatever it is. We're going to focus on debt payoff, right? So because of this, we are able to accelerate it from 4 years and a few months to less than 3 years. And we can probably even go to 2 years and a half, right? $136,000 in debt in less than 3 years. So $9,500 in income. Expenses is $5,500. That leaves me with a cash flow of $4,000. Again, initially it was only $500. So I love when people just decide to go all out and actually clean their numbers. So $4,000 that they can, after everything is paid off, all your debt, groceries, all the expenses are paid off, they have $4,000 to spare of cash flow. How are we going to use this? So how I broke it down is the cash flow, we're going to use it in 3 different ways. 25% of that, we're going to use it in an IBC policy. That comes out to $1,000 a month, right? 4,000, 25% of that is 1,000. The self-directed IRA. Self-directed IRA is 25%, and it's $1,000 a month. And then 50% is going to go into debt payoff, which is $2,000 a month. All right, so this is the one part of the strategy after going through their numbers, going through their goals, and figuring out how we're going to break it down. The reason why we decided to go this strategy is because if we come to this side, the self-directed IRA, they can only put max $14,000 in a year. It's $7,000 per person. They're over the age of 50. So if you're over the age of 50, you can only put $7,000. If you're under the age of 50, you can put $6,000 only. So if you look, well, the self-directed IRA is $1,000, 12 months, that's $12,000, so we can put up to $14,000, and I'll explain a little bit more. The infinite banking policy, we are going to put $10,000, and the reason why is because after going through their numbers as well, they have about $10,000 cash that they can put into the infinite banking. I never recommend to do the monthly whole life policy because they normally charge about 9.6% for doing the monthly payment. It's a fee. So we're always trying to pay less in interest or less fees, right? So if they have only 10,000, then I actually contacted IBC Global. You guys should check them out. They are amazing at creating infinite banking policies, and essentially they created this policy where $1,666 or $1,600 about will go into the premium because of their age. 70% of the, normally they try to do a 1090 split, but in this case they're only going to do a 1783 split due to the time, their age, and some of the health concerns, right? And then $8,334 is going to be PUA, which is 83%. So out of those $8,334, they can actually take a loan amount of $7,917, right? So that's important. Why? Because it's going to come back into their numbers. So going back into their numbers, these are all the debts that they have. They have student loans, so they're professionals, right? These are people that have gone to college and have a master's degree, and because of that, they're able to make the amount of money they made. So in this case, they have about $90,000 in student loan debt. And this is to show, no matter how much debt you have, as long as you are committed to these strategies, you can get out of debt in a very little amount of time. Initially, they thought, well, normally student loan debt takes about 10 years to pay off, sometimes even more. So can you imagine thinking that you're going to be paying a debt for 10 years, and suddenly we can tell you, you can pay everything, $136,000 in less than 3 years. Blew their mind, right? And that's why we're going to go this route. And that's why they were so excited and decided to clean their numbers properly. So if you look at this, they have 1, 2, 3, 4. Between these 4 of them right here, they have about close to $90,000 in student loan debt. Everything else is credit cards and all other kind of credit. One of the things that I want to mention is interest rate. It's very important. The payments. These are the monthly payments for each individual one. One of the things that I like to be able to show always is the interest rate. How much interest are you paying currently for having this amount of debt? So their total payments come out to $2,341. The interest payments alone, this is the interest payments that somebody accrued, is $1,052. Out of those $2,341, $1,052 goes straight to interest. So that means that about $1,200 and some dollars, probably $1,290, are actually going to principal. So you are sending $2,300, but you only are paying $1,200 in principal, what goes into the actual balance. That's why we want to make sure we get rid of as much interest as possible. And in this side, I put the current using the snowball effect without adding any penny, but still, when they pay their first debt, they go ahead and they use that, whatever they were paying. Let's say that the first debt that they pay is this one, right? So they pay it off, and then they add those $234 into their next one, and then successively they add and they snowball this process. They will get out of that in 6 years and 5 months. So even if you don't put an extra penny, even if you don't put anything else, right, your cash flow was 0. In this case, just by doing this method, you would get out of debt in 6 years, 5 months. So you would save what? Approximately 3 years and 7 months. They will pay a total interest of $43,312.93. This down here is the savings. How much did they save? Well, really nothing, because that's the way that we are. We want to beat, of course, this, and we want to see how much we save. So if we add $500, this is where initially I was telling them, they will be able to get out of debt in 4 years and 9 months. They will pay total in interest $29,503.81. They will save in interest alone $13,809.12, right? This is just the interest that they will save. This is not the additional money that they could be implementing into some real estate, into investments, and into whatever they want to do to maximize their future, right? Because once everything is paid off, you have $2,341 to put wherever you want. And again, that could be investment in stocks or real estate, right? In a year, we're talking about is over $24,000 that you can put down payment on probably an investment property. So, and I did the math with 1,000 and 2,000 because again, their number that we're using is 2,000. So if they do $1,000, so not because we went from 0 to 500 and we eradicated pretty much almost 2 years of debt payoff. Not because I added another 500 means I'm going to eradicate another 2 years. In this case, they only brought it down a little less than a year. So adding an extra 500, it brought it down to 3 years, 11 months, which in interest they pay $22,651.39. It saves $20,661.54. Now let's go to what we actually decided to do. If we put $2,000 a month into this strategy, they'll be out of debt in 2 years, 11 months. Now, this strategy is not counting infinite banking, right? So these are the different strategies again that we can do. If we implement the infinite banking into this strategy, where we can pay some of this stuff additionally, they can get out of debt in less than 2.5 years, or probably less than 2 years. So $2,000, they'll get out of debt in 2 years, 11 months. Total interest paid is $16,392.05. Guess how much they save? Big number. $26,920. $26,920.88. That's the amount that they're able to save, right? And let's go back to the numbers. And if they now decide to get the $2,341 and the $2,000 extra that they're putting into this debt payoff strategy, that's $4,300, which in a year, it comes out to $50,000. And $50,000 can be the down payment, once again, for an investment property. $50,000 in a year, we can still separate and have maybe $5,000 to $10,000 for vacation. You still have $40,000 that you can do whatever you want. But that's where your goals come into play, right? Because now we can either start paying your house down with $40,000, right? A $200,000 mortgage, you're adding, or you're paying your monthly payment, and then you add an extra $40,000 down. Within 4 or 5, no more than 5 years, that house can be paid off, right? But if they wanted to decide, instead of putting those $4,300 into their house, they can put it into an investment property, right? That's still putting every year for the next 3 years $14,000 into their self-directed IRA. And the reason why they decided to go with self-directed IRA, if you have no idea what it is, go search it. Self-directed IRAs are the only IRAs you can invest in real estate. So you can watch that later. I'll probably make a video about that later, or you can search it on YouTube. There's plenty of people that have good information about self-directed IRAs. The infinite banking policy, for those 3 or 4 years, we still putting those $10,000 into the infinite banking policy. So by the time they are completely debt-free, they are probably going to have about $30,000 or close to $26,000, let's say, in this infinite banking policy, and they're going to have about $35,000 each, so that's $70,000, $70,000, and $26,000. They're going to have close to $100,000 in the same time. The 3 years, they're going to pay that off. And then from there, they can definitely do something in investing or pay their house. Hope this is helpful. If you really like this video, please please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you want me to run your numbers, feel free to hit me up. I have my website down below. I have the links down below. You can schedule a one-on-one call. I can run your numbers and help you get out of debt. Thank you, and God bless.